Come on back to the zone drone. Steve Cohen is about to fly. How's that? Good?
All right. So I'm flying what's considered a ready-to-fly off-the-shelf DJI Inspire 1. This is not a kit build, although I have done quite a number of builds myself. So this, we currently don't have GPS in here, obviously. So we're using the drone's got bottom sensing sonar, and that's keeping me level as I hover and turn. So if I let go of the sticks, it'll drift, but it's staying at a decent, actually it's holding its altitude is what I'm kind of getting at here. I'm going to say hi to that young woman up there. Hello. Can you wave? No? Okay. So what's nice about these aircraft is that they're so well tuned and the cameras are so stable that the user's ability to get really nice, high quality, stable video is basically out of the box. There is a lot of practice involved in doing it well, but it's not hard to fly in a big open space. In here I'm being especially careful. You wouldn't realize it, but there's actually a lot of drafts, a lot of a lot of air currents up there. Another nice thing about this drone is that it has its bottom sensing will actually cause its landing gear to come down automatically. So as I get closer to the ground, it automatically lowers its gear. But then I can also automatically put it back up if it's going to let me. Maybe I got to be a little higher. Let's see. There we go. And this is really revolutionary in terms of the drone design in having the arms and the landing gear in the same mechanism. So it's got a worm drive in the center there. So many times when people buy drones, or make their own drones, they don't know how to mount their camera and keep the props or the landing gear out of the picture. And this worm drive mechanism pretty much solved it for everybody. The other thing that's nice about this one in particular is it comes with a second controller so that a second operator could actually be operating camera while someone like myself or another operator flies, which is usually how the best motion picture capture takes place. Somebody flying and somebody operating camera. It's kind of like patting your head and rubbing your belly at the same time, doing it at one go. All things considered, it's pretty quiet and just really stable. Not really meant to be much of an acrobatic flyer. If you're capturing video, you're really not looking for flips and rolls and whatnot. Does anybody have any questions? All right, I'm going to let her down. Thank you. About 35, 40 miles an hour.
He's going to turn you off.
Okay, go for it.
I'll take it.
That's test.
Take this one.
Fuck.
You're good.
Thanks, Steve. That was really awesome. That was awesome. What a great bird. Listen, so the robot, the next demo is that way, about 25 feet in the center. Just turn around, pirouette, and walk back. Hey, how are you? Sorry, good to see you. Good, good. I gotta actually.
This is the system to get
Check. Yeah, no.
Hey, how are you?
So people should be able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's speaking to me.
Hello? Can you all hear me?
Hold it up to you. Hold it up.
Oh, here, I think we'll do this instead. Hello? Hello? Everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. So, hello everyone. Great to see you again. So, this is Budgie. Budgie is a robot that follows you and carries your things. So he's great for people that are elderly, disabled. I think it's working okay, right? Are we okay, or you want me to take that one?
It's going to do a lot better than that lavalier to carry around like this.
Okay, you want me to grab that instead? Okay, here we go. Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, great. So, so Budgie, he follows a transceiver. I have the transceiver in my hand, and this transceiver uses sonar. Someone had mentioned earlier that a lot of robotics companies are finding that, wow, how expensive is it for me to have collision avoidance? How expensive is it to have cliff sensors? How expensive is it to have any kind of sensing of your environment? So our company, 5 Elements Robotics, has developed, using sonar and very low-cost sensors, under $12.50 each, the ability to sense your environment. And that is why we were able to offer this robot at under $1,400. So this robot is for the target consumer model. He is, weighs under 20 pounds. He folds up. You can fold him up. You can stick him in your closet. You can stick him in your trunk of your car. He'll carry up to 50 pounds. His battery lasts 10 hours, recharges in roughly 3 hours. And Budgie's very friendly. He can talk to you through an application that you download on your Android or your iPhone. And you can control him manually. So if you're in the living room and you want to drive him into the kitchen without getting up, you can do that. Or if you so desire, you can get up and have him follow you in there. Okay? So that's Budgie. Okay? Any questions, or we're good? Thank you, everybody.
That was awesome. Let's take one quick question. One quick question. Anyone? How is it on carpet? Does it work on carpet?
Yes, it does. Would you like me to? Yeah. Yes, it runs.
Yes, it works on carpet. Brilliant question. No.
It runs
You
on
got it?
sidewalk, asphalt, and
Sidewalk, asphalt, and carpet. It goes indoor and outdoor. Mars?
not sand.
The moon? No.
Are you working on a model that goes up and down stairs?
Are you working on a model that goes up and down stairs?
No, we are not. No, this model does not go up and down stairs, and we're not working on a model to go up and down the stairs. The reason is that the technology at this point to go up and down the stairs is very expensive. And this model, we wanted to keep it under $1,500, which we felt was somewhat affordable, for people. And generally, particularly if you're handicapped, there's any way that you can get up and down otherwise, right? You can use an escalator, you can use an elevator, and you can use this robot kind of holding onto it to get you up and down those. And he works very good in an elevator, very good in an escalator, no stairs. Yeah, if you put him, it's kind of like, you know how you have a bag that you're following, like a suitcase? Same kind of thing, you have to hold on to it when you get him on the escalator. Yep. Ramp, and he'll do any handicap ramp up and down the handicap ramp. He's certified for the same dimensions that the handicap ramps are built to.
Awesome. Thank you, Wendy. Thanks, Wendy. We're going to move on to the next one. Stay right here. Mid-Atlantic Robotics. Where are you?
Right behind you.
Okay. Come. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Jim Carr with Mid-Atlantic Robotics. Now what we do is try and make robotics fun for kids. We put on tournaments, New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. We're a franchisee of First Robotics, which is an international organization. This robot was built by kids. I don't have them here, but they designed it and built it. We target first goes everywhere from 6th up through 12th grade, and they by trying to make robotics fun, we get kids hooked on it. A large majority of our kids end up going on to become engineers. And I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. Let me here. Nicholas, would you like to try what? Nico, would you like to try driving the robot? So forward. This one spins. The other one goes forward. This is a little demo bot. We have 2 high school competitions. One is robots that are 120 pounds. They generally are about 6 feet tall and much larger. They're much harder to fit in my car. This one is from our other high school competition, which is it's designed to fit in an 18 by 18 inch cube. What I'm doing here is looking for people from the industry who are willing to contribute some of their time to help high school teams be mentors and give them guidance in how to design advanced robotics. So, yes. Okay. I see it. So the question was, one of the robot's wheels is not working. This, unfortunately, I couldn't bring the kids with me. They would fix it. I generally just work on putting on the tournaments. The kids build the robots, kids design them, they program them, they CAD them, and they do the game strategy. When we throw a tournament, we'll have 2,000 people in a crowded in a high school cheering for their particular team. And it's all about making robotics fun and interesting to kids. And that's what we do.
Awesome, Jim. Thanks a lot. Okay. Pirouette. back to the drone zone for a custom video drone flight. We're going to make you exercise today.
Video. Awesome.
I believe that. It's probably more.
So
But I hear you're going to Snaker.
yep, we'll be there. We'll be there
too.
Okay.
We're going.
Awesome.
Yep. It's
All right, can you guys hear me all right? Hello?
it must have gone off. Let me get another one.
Get another one.
Test.
All right, what I have here is just a very, very simple video from the first approved flight from Liberty State Park in close proximity to Ellis Island and Statue of Liberty. All right, we did this last week. We did 4 flights. What we wanted to do was to make sure we understood what the traffic in the Hudson Corridor looked like. It was less video, more for understanding the flight patterns. Next week, we're going to take the same 3D robotics and fly it with a pan-tilt zoom camera in that same area. The fellow that was flying this for me, George Finley, has a Section 333 waiver. It should be taking off very, very soon. There it goes. It's from an area that we're going to be landing and launching at. This is Liberty State Park. He turns around. There's Ellis Island over there, and there's the Statue of Liberty. So what was interesting? This was the 4th flight. What was interesting about this is that from this camera, you see it's well within the boundaries that we were given. We had to stay within a certain buffer zone around Ellis Island, certain buffer around the Statue of Liberty. So what we were looking at is what the right geofence was, so that on October the 3rd, we can have the right flight path from this landing and launching a particular area. So when we first started, and I was looking at it with my eyes. Remember I said a perception problem? This thing looked like it was in the middle of the Hudson River. And I was sort of yelling at George, says, "You're going to get me locked up because the Federal Park Service is going to have a cardiac arrest." I could play this later on for anybody if this thing happens. But the nice thing about this is the first approved flight of any kind of drone from Liberty State Park. I have approval from the state of New Jersey Park Services to do this. I'm also going to work with the Department of the Interior. Why? Because the Department of the Interior, for all the federal parks in the United States, have a blanket COA with the FAA. They can exercise that COA for research purposes. And I've been on WebExes with the Department of the Interior, so that my next step over here is, yes, it's nice to use Liberty State Park, and it's nice to have the appropriate approvals and permissions to actually do this. But at the same time, I'd like to do some landing and launching around Statue of Liberty. I'd like to do some of that around Ellis Island. But from my perspective, I want to work the regulatory process. If they say there's a blanket COA for the Department of the Interior, Park Services, and the FAA, I want to exercise that. I want to see how that works. I want to see what kind of pushback I get in doing that. I say that one of the questions that was asked, I'll get you that in a second. One of the questions that was asked by somebody from Rutgers is he had a COA languishing for about 12 months. Not surprising. I have my second COA for Cape May County Airport about the same time. What's happening at the FAA is that they're pulling a lot of the COA people into the Section 333 waiver process. So what that's doing is delaying the approval. Now it's going to be landing. It's delaying the approval process for COAs in lieu of getting approvals for the Section 333s. What do you need? Time. I'm all done. I'm all done. All right. Anybody have any questions? Is it okay for her to ask a question?
I'd like to know how you're going to handle the military. Now, for example, Earl is a little bit upset because some of the people, and not you, but their kids, are going down the tracks, which they bring in their ammunition from and bring it into Earl. How are you going to handle that?
I'm not going to handle it. Can I answer that question? All right. I can't address that because you're getting into enforcement issues. The FAA has rules and regulations. Everybody understands the hobbyist umbrella. Section 333 waivers is just an extension of that. There's very little law enforcement at the local, county, those levels.
How you doing, everybody? My name's Connor from Aspect Aerial. We do drone builds, design, and customization, as well as the actual flying and training for those builds that we do. What you're looking at here on the left is this was the first rig that got us off the ground. We started with that exact build. It was the first one we ever did. This is nothing fancy. The only thing that's fancy on it is these aluminum arms. We had these machined out of the same aluminum they use on fighter jets. It's extremely rigid, extremely light, and it's machined, not forged, so they're structurally sound. Other than that, this is all stuff you can buy off the shelf here. This is DJI NASA. This is a flight controller that you can readily availably buy, and there's a lot of instructions on how to set that up. It runs a GoPro. It's got a gimbal. It can be set up as a two-man operating system, and it runs off of something like this, 14-channel remote. This is the hardest part, learning how to use this. And then this is the battery for it. This is a 4S LiPo instead of a lithium ion, a little bit stronger. The other thing we do that's really unique too is my background is actually in visual media production. I did stuff for Nike, a lot of indie film producers, and I got contracted a lot to just do specifically this. So this is where that company stemmed from. I sold that company and started this from the ground up. That's from the building. On the other cool building side, we actually do custom carbon fiber cutting. We have our own CNC machine, and we supply our own carbon fiber. This is real good American carbon fiber, not that Chinese carbon fiber laminated fiberglass, which you often find. This is good stuff. So we stock this regularly. We can cut anything that you need. If a lot of 3D heli pilots are super interested in that because we can cut chassis parts for them. We get our own electronics made. This is an ESC. For those of you that know what that is, it's an ESC. For those of you that don't, this is what tells the motor how to spin and how fast. We get these custom made as well. And we have our own motors as well, designed specifically for our uses for smaller kits like what I'm about to hold up here in a second. So this is the smaller kit. That's what that stuff's designed for. This is our kit for our Aerial Academy program. What this is a program for kids in the summer to learn how to build and fly drones. They build this exact thing. It's unassembled. And we wrote the curriculum. It's 70-something pages, takes like 5 days to do this. They learn how to do 3D printing, CNC routing, and we actually do take a field trip to a manufacturer in Hope, New Jersey that has a metal 3D printer, and we show them how the big boys do it. So its class sizes are small. It's about 10 kids a class, and there's 2 instructors, so your instructor ratio's 1 to 5, which is very, very high. You cannot get that mostly anywhere else. We have flyers about it. There's a logo on a website on the bottom. You can check all that out. We got a newsletter here on the iPad if you want to keep up to date on that if your child's interested, or even if you're interested, we do it for adults too. Adults are 4-hour sessions, 2 4-hour sessions, or 1 4-hour session, and we come to you, and we have you build this in your house, and then we show you how to fly it. And then before you fly that, you do a simulator. It's pretty cool. Thank you.
200 pounds. 200 pounds. And how much is it worth?
It costs $120,000.
And it costs $120,000, so don't mess with it. Do not mess with it, okay? You ready, Kostas? You got 5 minutes. You ready? All right.
Hello everyone, I'm Kostas Bekris from Rutgers University. So I presume most of you have ordered an item from Amazon, and probably at that point, with high probability, you have already used the robot. Because in the warehouses of Amazon, mobile robots go and pick up shelves and take them to human workers, who are then responsible for picking those items from the shelves and place them into packages. This is now a step that Amazon and many other companies that have to deal with logistics are interested in automating. And logistics is a huge industry because delivery of products is crucial for our economy. So Amazon organized the challenge, the Amazon Picking Challenge last year, where about 30 universities participated, including Rutgers. And this is the solution that you see here. This is a dual arm manipulator, so we were able to use two types of hands. One of them has 3 fingers, and it's able to grasp items. The other one uses vacuum in order to create suction as it touches objects, in order to be able to take them from inside the shelf and place them inside the bins. And there are many interesting challenges that need to be solved in this process so as to have a system that can be deployed. From one side is perception, trying to use computer vision in order to realize where are the objects inside the shelf. And this is a challenging environment. It is dark, there are many other objects. You might think that the shelf is actually an object and try to grasp it. That's actually how many of the teams failed at the competition. They went with their robotic arms, grasped the shelf, and they brought it, and then the arm broke. Beyond the computer vision, then there is the grasping challenge. How should I place my hand in such a way so as to be able, once I close it, to make sure that I'm going to be able to lift the object? So these are still active research areas, and this is where perhaps still progress in academia can help companies in order to make a new product. But this is the kind of robotics technology that probably is going to be applied very soon, within 4 and 5 years. And once we have this solution working in warehouses, we can build on top of it in order to have service robots. Perhaps a cleaning robot that comes into your house, rearranges the objects in your environment, and this is an environment that is not known to the robot beforehand, but is able to realize what is happening. And I want to emphasize the importance, in order to have successful companies, to have an ecosystem of collaboration between universities and companies. This is the pattern that we have seen in Silicon Valley. It has worked very well. It used to be with the Bell Labs in the past, and New Jersey really needs to bring together universities and companies so as to have this level of progress and be the leaders in this important technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Kostas. And that's one of the missions of the New Jersey Tech Council, is to bring together academia and industry. And I'm so glad Rutgers is here, and NJIT, and Stevens, and Rowan. We have some of the best universities, on the planet. We just need to work together more effectively. So thank you for coming. Next is SRI, one table over. SRI is the old Sarnoff. Angel, it's all you.
Thank you. Well, thank you. My name's Angel Texer, go by Tex. I'm one of the systems engineers with SRI. I'm here with my colleagues, Pete Demirs and Neil Messina. What I'm here to show you is one of our applications called TerraSite EX. It's basically an application to go ahead and exploit aerial video. Now, what do we do that? We basically take in UAV video in real time. We correct for the inherent bias and errors generated by the platforms, image stability, metadata errors, stabilize the videos. We process them through some of our proprietary algorithms, such as the video enhanced metadata filter, and we finally geo-register that video. So what you'll see is on the left side is our real-time video of a UAV, and we'll just go ahead and show that in context. So our visualization system takes into account all the metadata errors. We correct that, and we go ahead and visualize that in 3D in the appropriate location. Why is this important? Because now what you have is a correct representation of your video in geospatial data. Not only do we do that for enhanced visual situation awareness, but we record this information with all these errors corrected. So what it's allowed you to do is allows you to bring in all this data into geospatial informations, third-party geospatial informations, and be able to query on the information to find out where your video was looking, when it was looking, with extreme accuracy. So most of the time, as you have a lot of tons of hours and hours of videos, you've processed these videos, and someday you need to query these videos. You look for a position on the earth. It says, I need videos from this intersection, and you can't find anything about it because the errors could be massive depending on the oblique angles and the depression angles of the video when it was taken. So we correct for that, and an example would be on this UAV, which has a terrible metadata. We've corrected, so what you see in the first one is this is where the sensor is actually telling where it's looking. But this is actually where it is, and that distance covers over kilometers away. So you're flying a vehicle out, a normal 500 feet to maybe anywhere from 500,000 feet doing actual surveying, and you're recording this information, and now if I need to query all my video around this intersection because that was my object of interest. I can't find any of that video because that's actually a kilometer away. So what we do is in real time, process that video, stabilize that video, all on the software. We can run this on a Panasonic Toughbook, and we can scale up to a variety of different systems so that if you've got multiple aerial vehicles that you're flying at a central or common operating area, tactical operation area, you can actually process multiple UAVs. As we see this on this visualization system, we've got 3 UAVs that are flying. It allows a command post to go ahead and task the vehicles and knows exactly where they're looking, what they're looking, and when they're looking, and allows central control of these assets to make sure they're flying, prosecuting, and surveying exactly where they need to be. And also what we do is, not only do we process the video, we can actually provide real-time video mosaic. And what we do is, in real time, we're basically taking all the taking the best images, stitching them all together, and providing a much better video in context, such as this mosaic, and where it basically allows an operator to go ahead and gives them a much better situation awareness of what he's flown, as opposed to continue to look through the monitor and just to basically just that soda straw effect. So bottom line is that our job is basically to expand that soda straw effect and put video in context and provide a much greater situation awareness and provide products that are actually usable in third-party parties systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. It's really amazing technology. And Sarnoff and SRI, just an amazing company, an amazing legacy company. You know, just like this complex had so many engineers, so did Sarnoff over the years. And if anyone's heard of Siri on your Apple iPhone, that was developed by SRI. So, I mean, they're really bringing out some great inventions. Before we go across to the way to Stevens, underwater robots, you can take a look at the iRobot here, which is not working because of connectivity problems within Bell Labs. Weird. Irony there. But before you take a look, it's pretty impressive. And then we're going to have 2 more robotics across the way. And then we have 3 more drones demos. So don't leave. Okay, testing. Here we go. Brendan, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Jim. So we're demonstrating our VideoRay remotely operated underwater robot today. VideoRay is a commercially available product. It's widely used by law enforcement, security. It's used for infrastructure inspection in the oil and gas industry as well. We've identified it as an ideal platform for doing research on autonomy for these systems. It's equipped, in our case in particular, with a suite of sensors that we think will allow it to achieve robust autonomy in challenging environments. Our ultimate goal would be for this robot to be able to do something no underwater robot can currently do, which is maneuver with agility in cluttered 3D environments. One of the toughest problems we have underwater is situational awareness. Right now, up here, you have a camera feed you might be able to see of what the robot can see with its camera. But underwater, especially when we operate this in the Hudson River, we maybe have a few inches of visibility. So we have to rely on the acoustic sensors we have on this system. We have a scanning sonar, which again you see here, although in air, we're not picking up any range returns from this, but it just gives you an idea of how quickly the sonar is scanning. We also have an acoustic positioning system. So this essentially functions as the homing beacon for the underwater robot. It has a pinger on board as well, and it uses this to range to the homing beacon, and it determines where its position is underwater in 3D. So all of those things still give us a very cloudy, noisy picture of where the robot is and what it can see. And that's where our research comes in, and we're in the process of developing algorithms, my PhD student John and also the other students in our research group at Stevens, that will allow these robots to map their environments, explore their environments and make decisions about how to explore them intelligently, and also how to plan once the robot has a clear picture of what's in its environment. One of the trickiest problems that we're trying to tackle is the problem of what's called in the robotics research community planning under uncertainty. This is a robot that has a lot of uncertainty that it needs to mitigate underwater. Its sensing is uncertain. Its ability to maneuver in a disturbance-filled environment where there are currents pushing it around also adds additional uncertainty. So we're trying to develop the algorithms that will allow this robot to do more with the data it currently has, so that it can navigate with agility and clutter. Thanks.
We're done, sorry folks. So Dave Yoel, American Aerospace Technologies, Inc. We build medium altitude, beyond visual line of sight unmanned aircraft systems for civilian applications. Specifically, our interest areas are energy and emergency management. In energy, we're talking oil and gas, utilities, including power generation and transmission, and extraction. In the oil and gas sector, we break that up into 4 segments: onshore, nearshore, offshore, and Arctic. And between them, we see a multi-billion-dollar market for UAS. The critical thing to understand, though, is that the end users aren't really interested in airplanes. They're interested in data, okay? And they don't want to pay for it. They want it for free, and they want it certified and calibrated and delivered in real time. And they want it to be automatically ingested into their IT systems. So there's a great many challenges with actually learning how to deliver a useful data product to an end user using an unmanned aircraft. And the thing I would say to understand about it is that once you've mastered the aviation aspect of the UAS, you're about 20% of the way to actually being able to deliver a useful data product. So from our perspective, and maybe because we're slow, I don't know, but it's a long road to really master this. But the magnitude of the opportunity is so huge that we're still in the early days of this industry. I see us as being at roughly the point that manned aviation was in 1920 after World War I. 99% of the money in aviation was from the military. The first beginnings of the idea of a civil aviation market was emerging. There was one flight across Tampa Bay once a week with 2 seats. There was somebody delivering packages across San Francisco Bay. The mail contracts came out in the 20s, et cetera, et cetera. So today, of course, military aviation has grown radically from those days, but 73% of the world aviation market is civilian. And the same will happen with unmanned aviation. So we're on the doorstep of an enormous new industry, and it's a really exciting time to be part of it. But we have to understand, too, that it's still the idea of a market more than a real market. And so until the regulations get developed and we're actually able to operate on a routine basis, it's going to be challenging to make a living at this. But there's the beginnings of our opportunity to do that, and whoever gets across this chasm into the growth phase of this marketplace is going to have a very successful business. So we focused on the beyond line of sight aircraft systems versus the small electrics, and we focused on energy and emergency management. So,
I shouldn't have drank that beer after all.
The dangers of alcohol. All right, folks. 2 more drones demos in the drone zone.
Buddy, thank you for coming out today. It's just an incredible event that we had here today. What we're talking about here at Fovea Aero a little bit is we've seen the drones, we've seen the things that they can do, but how can we take that data to the next level? And you see here, gentlemen here on the virtual reality device that we have, we're creating basically the next level of data management for the drones. We want to take what we have here, and Max, you can go ahead and start to fly if you want. We're taking what we can get out of these drones, which are kind of becoming ubiquitous. They're becoming commoditized to a degree. But how can we make that information more usable for the consumer, the end user, our clients? And what we've seen is typically what people are doing with drones are they're taking pictures, they're taking photos, they're taking video. And then they deliver those videos on a flash drive. And it's a bunch of photos that you have to flip through. But how can we make that more like our natural life? How can we make that more like what we do in everyday life? And so what we created was our Fovea Vision app. And so we go up and we'll fly a site. Maybe it's a construction site. Maybe it's an environmental project. And we create a full 360-degree augmented virtual reality view of that site. So this particular site is in South Jersey. And in addition to that, this is how you would naturally look at if you were standing 200 feet in the air. If you were the drone, this is what you would do in real life. you would look around, you would see what's around you, and then maybe you would bring a pair of binoculars with you, and you would zoom in. And we can do that as well too. So instead of just getting the overview, if you want to look at a particular portion of that, we can zoom all the way in using hyper-resolution imagery to particular portions of the project site, of the environmental project, of the beach, whatever it may be, Homeland Security. It really gives you a true close-up and overview of the project. In addition, what we do with our product and with our drones and our technology is we overlay additional information on it. So for example, down here, and I'll zoom in to the south here, there's a south ramp as part of this construction project, which is actually a few miles away. And I'll zoom all the way in there so that you can see it. And you can see we have this little icon here. And we've overlaid ground-based photos as well too, right in the product. So it's not something that you have to come in and out. It's all there together. You can put whatever imagery, additional information that you want, and you can see we create it in this virtual reality environment. And then to top it off, just for the fun of it, because it's kind of cool, we take our product and we can put it on virtual reality goggles. Who wants to volunteer to come and look at the, come on, somebody, there you go. You've already seen it. So you put on the virtual reality goggles, and what it does is it places you right there in that project. It's as if you are inside the drone, and you can look around. Looking down is always the freakiest part because there's nothing underneath of you. But it's as if you're in the drone looking around right there from 200 feet over the project. So it's a purely immersive environment, much more so than static images, even video. It's an immersive environment looking at the data that's coming out of these products. That's what we have to do, I think, here from a technology standpoint, is we have to look at how do we take these incredible aircraft that people have developed, and how do we take them to the next level and make them user-friendly, safer, make them improve safety, economics, and basically throughput. And that's really what it's about now. And I think now the product and the technology is mature enough that we're ready to look at technologies like these. So we really want to take it basically from, you go up and it's kind of a new effort into a mature product that people can use in their everyday basis. So we're Fovea Aero. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, Max.
And my colleague here is Scott Kranz. And at the Center for Vector Biology, we do mosquito research and control. So we're basically biologists by trade. And I run one of the mosquito districts in New Jersey for Hudson County. And when we have to, mosquitoes lay their eggs in water and occasionally very large areas. And so when we need to treat those areas, it's often done with full-scale helicopters. It's very expensive, up to like $2,300 an hour. And it's also somewhat risky. We had one of our helicopters crash about 2 years ago. And so what we've been doing is we've been trying to develop drones to do the work of full-scale helicopters, basically spraying for mosquitoes. So we have the unit that's on there right now is designed to spray liquid larvicides for mosquito control to kill the mosquitoes in the water. We have another unit that drops solid briquettes in the water to kill mosquitoes. We have another unit that makes really tiny droplets for killing the adult mosquitoes. This white unit over here, this quadcopter, is waterproof. It floats on the water and it has high definition video, so we can send live video back to the pilot so they can see if there are actually mosquitoes in the water and whether or not we need to treat. We have another unit that will actually collect those mosquitoes and bring them back to us so we can identify them, count them, things like that. So we've been doing this for about 3 years now. As I said, we're biologists and we've kind of been learning as we go along. But this out here right now is our hexacopter. It's about 7 kilograms as it's set up right now. It'll hover for about 35 minutes. We can treat somewhere between 7 and 10 acres depending on the product that we're using and the rate that we're putting it out at. And all this is completely autonomous. So we program the missions through this tablet and the unit will take off, fly its route, spray the pesticide, return to launch and land all by itself without any use of the controller. This is just here for emergencies if we have to take over. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to put it up in the air so you can kind of see a big one flying, and put it into hover mode and let it loiter. I don't want to fly it around too much, just in concern for everyone's safety, but just give you an idea of how it sounds and what it looks like in the air.
That's not the yes. If it's spraying, that wasn't planned.
So that's it for that.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Sorry about it. It started drifting. It's not like in the indoor space a little bit.
Also, if you want to narrate what's going on here, I do have a camera mic.
Well, Frank told us, he told me he knew you. He's like, somebody's going around there with a camera. No, it's not Frank.
I cannot use the thing as more, but that's the stabilization that you're getting out of it.
Watch out.
Right now I'm going to take it out for GPS because also I don't like to fly GPS. I like to control it. So I like to feel it, what it's doing up there. And here you can see it's not GPS and it's still stable.
All right.
And there it goes.
Amazon delivery. So you're gonna demo this guy?
Me shaving cream.
Right.
Shaving razors. Got you. Lightweight. Lightweight for now. Grocery stores,
Actually, I get much smoother video feedback because if you have a GPS watch, the GPS actually tries to correct you all the time. So that's going to be a little bit jerky on the video footage. So when it comes down to editing, you have to do extra work. That's now flying one of these bags over by us. I just locked it in. I just just want you to see how the gimbal is reacting, because actually this is a big unit, so you can see it operating. And to be seen how much I move and what you see.
Does it compensate for yaw?
Yes, it does.
It's still moving though.
Yes, because it's in a follow mode, the way it's set up.
See the legs flip up?
On it. Mine, I'm sure I can go in there and take every gimbal that's in there and pull it out, but that requires programming software.